Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about instant turnoffs for women. And the first thing that I'm going to get into is the way that you communicate with women and things that you should avoid saying with women, especially women that you're dating and you're just getting to know, because those first impressions really do matter. So you want to make sure that your words are very much in control and you're in control of like your desire to blurt out things, right? You gotta have that self-control when you communicate with women and the things that you say. Okay, so what is one of the things that turn-offs for women in terms of communication and things that you may say that may turn her off? Okay, so basically a lot of this comes down to just really childish things. Like if you just display and you speak in a very childish way and maybe like a teenage boy sort of like mentality, where I guess in another way you might call it locker room talk. If you're talking about things that are just overly sexual and you're saying words like boobies and things like that, just anything that's just sounds just like really, really immature, and sort of the same jokes that maybe you've been telling ever since you were like 12 or 13, just anything along those lines. Okay, because if you're telling a joke that you've told since you were 13 years old and you're talking about things that you've talked about since you were 13 years old with your buddies, then it's not the kind of language or the kind of things that you need to be saying around a lady that you're going out on a date with. Okay, so avoid any sort of like innuendos that are just really childish, way too sexual. And also avoid talking about things that are too sexual straight away as well, because that will make a woman think, oh, he just wants to have sex. He's just interested in sexual matters and things like that. And she'll be able to sense that sexual immaturity if all you can talk about is sexual things and you're just talking about sexual innuendos and stuff. Because there's a right way and a wrong way to bring up those topics, okay? And usually it's when things are like the most obvious. Like if she accidentally says something that sounds a little bit sexual, then you can do like a little bit of a playful dig or something like that, and then come off the subject. So an example that I use in my book, Attracting the Beautiful Woman of Your Dreams, which you can go and read completely for free on my website. Just go to www.christinelovridge.com and then click on the menu on the website, then go to the book. It'll take you straight there and you don't have to log in, don't have to sign up. It's just one of those easy ways that you can just coach yourself for free on my website. But basically in that book, I use the example of a woman that's talking about a shopping center or like a mall, if you're from the States. And she's saying, oh yeah, if you go to that shopping center, it's better to use the back entrance because there's less parking there or something along those lines. And, and the guy in a playful innuendo says, well, maybe we should, get to know each other more before we start talking about back entrances. It's very quick. It's just a very little quip that you can just easily say. And it's a sexual innuendo. It'll get her thinking more in sexual terms. It plants it into her mind basically, but then you go off the subject and you start talking about something else, and it's just one of those things that you just lightly bring in and then you take it away and you start talking about something else. So then you go into about the shopping center itself and like, oh, so what is there any good restaurants in there? I've never been there. Talk about, just go into different things. Okay, so it's about, if you're going to use innuendo, if you're going to do like sexual jokes, then use them in that way. Don't let it be every other conversation you're having is about sex, or you're bringing up really immature sexual topics and things like that. So avoid any kind of locker room talk. If it's something that you said when you were 13, then it's probably not a good idea to say it on a date with a woman, okay? So just avoid it, okay? It's better to just avoid it than to do it, just in case it does turn her off and she finds it very distasteful, okay? And again, if you're talking about sexual things, she's just going to think that that's what you're interested in. Okay. So another thing that will be an instant turn off for women is if you have no emotional self-control. So let's say you're on a date with a woman. This might be your first date and you had a really great time and you're just blown away by her beauty. You're just blown away by the great time that you had. And you just feel this huge desire to just message her. Maybe you feel like you're in love with her and you're like, oh, I gotta message her. I can't wait to see her again. I'm just gonna tell her that I love her. Just something like that, because you're just so in your head about your fantasies and the great time that you had. If you do that, okay, and you let your emotions get ahead of you and you kind of forget the kind of things that I teach and other coaches teach you here online about, you know, why you should like wait, right? Wait a while before, you know, saying things like I love you or I really, really like you. And just wait for her to say those things first, because then you know it's the right time to say those things. And if you're forgetting those things and you know, and you're like, oh God, you know, well, Christine said not to do that, but oh, I really feel it, and then you go ahead and do it. It shows that you've got no emotional self-control. And she's going to see that as well, because maybe she had a great time too, and maybe she was having a lovely time, but maybe she hasn't quite got to the point where she's fantasizing about you and thinking about how much she's in love with you. And then she suddenly gets a message from you saying like, oh, I had a great time, I'm so in love with you, I can't wait to see you again, I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together. And you're basically just emotionally vomiting all over her. It shows no emotional self-control, especially if you know on an instinctual level that you shouldn't be saying these things right now. It's too soon. Okay, so if you've got no emotional self-control, even if she had a really great time, it's going to make her go, oh, it's still going to make her stomach turn, because she's not there yet. And the way that you know if a woman is there yet is if she's saying those things to you. So if she's telling you that she really likes you, if she's telling you that she's in love with you, then you know it's okay to reciprocate, because you know she's at that level. And what you'll find a lot of the time with in the difference between men and women when they're dating is that men do tend to fall in love a lot quicker. Okay, whereas women, it takes them a bit more time to warm up to a guy, because, you know, with little girls, stranger danger is ingrained into our brains. I know it's ingrained into little boys too, but it's especially ingrained into little girls, and little girls are overly protected, maybe a bit. And because of that, it takes them a while to get comfortable with a guy. Okay, so for example, let's say she starts dating a guy. It may take her maybe about 4 or 5 dates before she actually feels like, okay, this guy is definitely 100% safe. And she cannot feel the emotions of love. Okay, she can feel the attraction, but she may not feel emotions of love until that time has gone by. She can't have a guard up about you and be still figuring you out and figuring out if you're safe and be in love with you. She can feel that way and be attracted to you, but not in love with you, okay? So it's always best to just wait for her to say those things, because if she's not saying those things now, she's not ready to. She's not ready to hear those things from you. So just wait, just wait. Wait until she knows you a bit more, wait until she feels more comfortable, and wait until she says those things first, because then you'll know you're not saying it prematurely, okay? So have emotional self-control. If you don't, and you word vomit over her about how much you're in love with her and saying all these romantic things, it's not going to make her like you more. In fact, it's more likely it's going to turn her stomach if she's not at the same level as you are yet, okay? So another thing that will be a turn off for women is no sexual self-control. So we've already talked about the verbiage of that and how you may communicate that with your words, but you may also do this with your actions too. So let's say, for example, you're on a date with a woman, and maybe she goes in for a hug, and maybe you just grab her ass or something like that. You know, I don't know, right? If she's not giving you any kind of sexual touch, then you shouldn't be giving her sexual touch. You know, if she's coming for a hug, this is no time to grab her boobs. This is no time to grab her ass. It's no time to do those things. And again, it's just displaying no sexual self-control, especially as well if you're just having a chat on the first date and you're already talking about going back to her place or her coming back to yours. It's showing no sexual self-control. Now, if she's, you know, coming onto you hot and heavy, and she's touching you and she's making out with you, then maybe that's an appropriate thing to say on a first date if she's doing those things too. But what you'll find is that most women won't have sex with you on the first date. It'll usually be on the second or third date or further up, okay? Because she's still trying to get to know you. So there's just avoid bringing it up, okay, unless she is showing the signs, and what the signs are just what I just said. She's touching you, she's making out of you, you know, things feel like they're getting hot and heavy with her, okay? If you're just sitting across from her talking, then things aren't getting hot and heavy, so there's no point you bringing up sexual matters, okay? And also, when you do end up having sex with her, the best thing that you can do is exercise that sexual self-control by doing lots of foreplay and basically learning how to get to a point where you can resist her more than she can resist you, okay? And the way that looks like is, you know, you're making out, you're extending the foreplay a lot, you're caressing each other and all those kinds of things, and she's telling you that she's ready for sex. Maybe she just starts taking your clothes off, maybe she just tells you, but just wait it out. Just keep on, you know, making things more and more intense until she starts taking your clothes off, basically, okay? And then you know that you have resisted her more than she has resisted you. And the best way to do that is to extend the foreplay. And another way that you can show sexual self-control is when you're having sex, get her to finish first, okay? And then you finish, okay? So if you can do that, then I promise you that will turn her on way more than the alternatives, okay? So when you're on a date, what I want you to do is just focus on fun, just focus on having a good time, just focus on getting her to laugh, just focus on having a blast with each other and giggling and just being silly with each other. And let her bring up the topics of romance. And when she's ready for intimacy, she'll start touching you. So basically, if she starts touching your arm, all you really need to do is to start reciprocating those touches. Okay, so if she's holding your hand and she's going in for a hug, things like that, then it's more likely that she's ready for bigger moves like a kiss, and more, basically just more. So just focus on fun. Okay, just focus on fun and wait for her to give the invitation to physical touch and things like that. Okay, and you'll know that she's ready to be kissed. One of the signs that a woman is ready to be kissed is she'll look down at your lips and into your eyes and down at your lips again and back into your eyes. She'll just keep on doing that. And basically what she's doing, she's thinking about kissing you. So be bold and just go for it, okay? So that's what I would say would be the best advice on that subject, okay? So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com and just click on whichever coaching option works best for you. On my website right now as well, there's also a Dating Basics for Men course. It's about 40 minutes. It's pre-recorded. But it's one of those things that you can get if you'd like to. But like I said, and I say throughout all my videos, it's not necessary for you to pay for coaching with me or to buy courses or things like that, because you can easily just coach yourself by reading the book, which, as you know, is free to read on my website. So thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.